everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. So here today we are going to be looking at the Phylum Arthropoda. So the Phylum Arthropoda has got a lot of subclasses, but today we are going to be looking at the class known as the Diplopoda and the Chilopoda. So what are these? So the common example of the Diplopoda is the millipede, and the Chilopoda is the centipede. So you can look at the spelling chilopod, centi. They are both starting with a C. Then Diplopoda, we have the millipedes. So let's begin with our chilopods. So as you can see, their bodies are flattened. So these are the characteristics. They have a flattened body. That is number one. Number two is that they have one pair of limbs, or rather one pair of legs per segment. So each segment has got one pair of legs. So these are the characteristics of Chilopoda. So what have we talked about? They are flattened, number one. Number two, they have one pair of legs per segment. So a segment, let's say it's like this. Then we have, these are segments. So each segment will have only one pair of legs, like that. So even here we have one pair of legs, like that. They are predators, which makes them carnivorous, meaning to say they eat other animals. So they are predators. The first pair of limbs is modified, or rather specialized to form what we call the forcipules. These forcipules are now able to more like kill other animals. So these ones are very poisonous. We are calling them forcipules. So now let's look at what we have talked about under the Phylum Chilopoda, or sorry, not Phylum, but the class. Be very careful. So this is a class. So the Phylum is Arthropoda. Then the class, this one is Chilopoda. So Chilopoda, the organism, the common example is the centipede. So the centipede, like that. So the characteristics that we have talked about are mainly that they are flattened. That's number one. They are flattened. They have one pair of legs. They move very fast. They are fast. They are carnivorous, meaning to say they eat other animals. So they are carnivorous. Then they have very venomous claws, or rather they have venomous claws, like that. So these claws can be able to kill other animals. So that is that about the class Chilopoda. So remember the example Chilopoda. So it's starting with a C. So think of an organism that starts with a C, which is the centipede. Centipede only has one pair of legs, like that. Now, on the other hand, when we look at our Diplopoda is number one, it is cylindrical. So Diplopoda is this one. So you can even see that it is resembling a cylinder. So this one is cylindrical. That's number one. It is cylindrical. That is for the body shape. The other one, for the body shape, it was flattened. The other thing is that Diplopoda, di means two, Diplopoda. So this one has got two pairs. This one has got two pairs of legs, like that. So diplo means two. So this has got two pairs of legs. They are relatively slow as compared to the centipedes. They are relatively slow. So they are herbivores, meaning to say they eat let's say plants. Then they are also detritivores. So detritivores. So these detritivores, what they feed on is that they feed on decaying matter. That's the meaning of detritivore. Detritivores. Detritivores. They feed on decaying matter. Take note of the spelling. So they are detritivores. So remember, we say what we said about the class Chilopoda. So this is also class Chilopoda. The first ones are modified to form what we call the forcipules. Forcipules which have got venom, which is able to more like kill other animals like that. So this one is the Chilopoda, because they have one pair of legs per segment. So we have looked at a number of characteristics of diplopod, or rather Diplopoda. They are cylindrical. They have two pairs. Di means two, so they have two pairs of legs. They are slow. They are herbivores, meaning they eat plants. They are also detritivores, which means that they feed on decaying matter. Their defensive mechanism is that they secrete chemicals. This is their defensive mechanism. So if they see that there is an attack on them, they will be able to coil up like that. So this is a defensive mechanism like that. So that is one of their behaviors. So that is what they do. They roar like that. When they roar, they form a tight spiral shape when threatened. So this is the defensive mechanism. They roar to form a spiral shape, and some will release. So some, that is on the defensive mechanism, some will release smelly or toxic chemicals. So that is their defensive mechanism. So that is that about the diplopods and the chilopods. So remember the characteristics that we have talked about. Diplopods, they are cylindrical. They resemble a cylinder. They have two pairs of legs. Di means two. They are slow. They are herbivores, which means they eat plants. They are detritivores, which means that they feed on decaying matter. Then when we look at our chilopods, the chilopods, so just remember, if you can remember that di means two, that means to say the other one must contain one. So the chilopods, on the other hand, have got modified first pair of legs, which form the forcipules, which contain the venom, which they use for hunting. They contain one pair of legs per segment, or rather two legs per segment. But in terms of pair, you can say one pair of legs. They are flattened, so as you can see, they look a bit flat like that. Then the other characteristics that we have talked about is that they are fast. They are carnivorous, which means that they feed on other animals. So that's that. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you would like, subscribe, and share for more. See you in the next tutorial.